Today's sermon snack is on a peculiar chapter of Scripture. It's Psalm 119, which is the longest chapter in Scripture. It's 176 verses, and it's pretty peculiar because almost every verse talks about God's law, God's rules, God's precepts, God's ways. And not only that, it even goes by the Hebrew alphabet, and so each section begins with the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet, and then the second and the third, and has a whole section. And the difficulty about this particular chapter, I have felt guilty a lot because of this chapter, because it talks over and over about how I love God's law and I delight in it and how much I enjoy it. I'm like, do I? And I felt kind of guilty that I don't really love God's law. What I want to do is kind of give a different gospel take on this, because when Jesus came, he said that he was the summary of the law and the prophets. And so when he came, he said, actually, all of those laws, all of those rules, all of the prophets and the teachings, they all point to me, he said. He said, not only do they point to me, but I'm the fulfillment of them. And so I'd encourage you guys to go read Psalm 119, but read it differently than you may otherwise. Rather than reading it as in God has a bunch of rules and you need to like his rules or else, actually God's law, God's rules, God's commands, God's ways are Jesus. I'm going to give you a few examples, and you can actually kind of, not always, but kind of replace the word for the rule or the commandment almost with the name Jesus. You can't always do it linguistically, but you can always do it conceptually. Let me give you a few examples. It says, then, verse 6, then I shall not be put to shame, having fixed my eyes on all of your commandments. Fix my eyes on Jesus. Verse 10, with my whole heart I seek you. Let me not wander from your commandments. Let me not wander from Jesus. 15, I will meditate on your precepts. Precepts, another word for rules. I will meditate on Jesus and fix my eyes on your way. I will delight in your statutes. That's one that has given me kind of heartburn over the years, because I don't oftentimes delight in God's statutes, but I do delight in him. And that's really what he's asking us to do. Now, he's not throwing away his moral guidelines for us. He's not saying just go do whatever you want. Actually, he's saying that I've already accomplished it, and now I'm encouraging and gifting and empowering you to live like you are my children, instead of living like the feral orphans that you used to be and that sometimes you want to be, but actually begin to enjoy the word being Jesus. And as we do, we will start enjoying his words, which are his commandments, his rules, his promises, his hope. And so actually I'll learn how to love the guidelines God has for me, because they're good and they keep me safe and they keep you safe and they keep us in relationship with him rather than us running off from him. So hopefully that was encouraging to you. Psalm 119, a whole different way to look at it. See you later.